I'm your friendly neighborhood Web-Warrior Fanatic, and Fantasy Flight Games just dropped this new art, this new teaser for the Typhoid Mary scenario here from the Fear No Evil expansion that's coming out for Marvel Champions. And they actually dropped this on Facebook here on their social media page, which is normal and a little bit abnormal because we normally get teasers, on Facebook anyways, but it's usually repeating stuff that we've seen in the preview article, already. But we have a new art here for a scenario and a description that's a little bit like showing some new information here. So I know a lot of you guys have told me that you don't follow Fantasy Flight Games on social media or you don't have Facebook yourselves. So I'm just going to break this down here really quickly for you guys. And we're going to be speculating about the scenario and seeing what it's all about here. So really quick disclaimer before we get into it, I do not know who Typhoid Mary is, from the Marvel Comics. I did a little bit of research here before this video. So yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into it here. So basically we have this video here from Fantasy Flight Games on their Facebook page. And it's basically like not really anything here. It's just showing, this, and then, the Fear No Evil box, and then a Typhoid Mary right here. And it says Bloody Mary right here. And basically the rest of this isn't really anything new. It's just her kind of like animated a little bit. So that's basically all we got. But this is new art for her, and Bloody Mary, I didn't know like what this meant. Is this referring to Typhoid Mary? And it says here in the description, Typhoid Mary can't seem to decide whether she's an enemy or an ally. Unsurprisingly, she's split on the decision. Help her find the right side in the new Fear No Evil expansion for Marvel Champions, the card game. So I'm sure you guys have already seen this article, the Fear No Evil article on April 16th, announcing this awesome Daredevil expansion for Marvel Champions. And you guys told me that this is Typhoid Mary right here on the box, but she looks a little bit different than what she looks right here with the, tagline Bloody Mary. So I don't know what that's all about. And then here on the actual box, we see some more Typhoid Mary art right here. And she looks different here as well. Here, she kind of like almost looks like a good guy, almost. I don't know. But like her powers look really cool right here. And yeah, I'm just not sure. Like, I think this art looks entirely different from this art here, which looks very different from this art right here. So really quick with the lore for Typhoid Mary, apparently, it's Mary Walker, and she was a mutant. And, she was in a brothel where she first met Matt Murdock, Daredevil, before he became Daredevil. And he was there to attack a villain at the brothel where Mary was working at. And to surprise all the girls defended the villain. And then he lashed out against a woman, knocking Mary out the window. And then she vowed that she would never allow a man to hurt again, becoming Typhoid Mary here. And basically her like ability, or not her ability, but like her personality is that she has split personality. She has 3 other abnormal personalities. So a little bit similar to like Moon Knight. So she has Mary, which is her like timid personality. She has her Typhoid personality, which is more adventurous, and she also has her Bloody Mary personality, which is a brutal, sadistic personality that hates all men. And aside from this, she has martial artist skills. She also has telekinetic powers and pyrokinesis, which can set people or objects in her immediate vicinity aflame. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. She has a pretty unique, skill set and some very interesting powers. So I think that's why we got like so many different arts of her because, she may be in the Mary personality, the Typhoid personality, or the Bloody Mary personality. So it looks like that this art here is definitely the Bloody Mary, the most violent personality that she has. And in the arts here, it looks like this one and also this one here is the Typhoid personality, right? Because it still looks like kind of evilish, and she's using her powers right here, and the powers look really cool right here. I'm guessing that's like blue flame, which is super duper cool. I really like this. This gives me like Psylocke vibes, how she's able to like generate kind of like for her katanas, like something that's like with her mutant abilities. So yeah, I think that's very, very cool. So we also have a post here from Reddit, talking about the Typhoid Mary, that new art here from Facebook. And then they're talking about how, social says that Typhoid Mary will have multiple forms, including Bloody Mary. And then the text, they're just saying that text that I read earlier. And they're asking, for the community what they think that means. And I think we see some interesting discussion right here. So this person says, didn't they recently make an update to ruling of villainous so that it still applies to allies? And then went, why do you think we did that? Hint, hint. And it says here that Typhoid Mary can't seem to decide whether she's an enemy or an ally. This seems to be why. So a lot of people are speculating that maybe Typhoid Mary might be able to, going back over here, get her Mary personality as like an ally in that scenario where she'll like, maybe even help you out. And maybe she'll have villainous, because, she's like on your side. And then they did say here with the villainous keyword. So this is also in that Fear No Evil article. They introduced Black Cat, who is a reluctant minion against you. She is villainous here. And then whenever there's 4 threat on Black Cat's card, you can treat her as an ally that takes 2 counter damage after she attacks or thwarts. And then they said here for this villainous keyword that it's gonna stick. So it says here, just keep in mind that her villainous keyword will still work even while she's on your side. And then they're talking about a new rule change for Fear and Evil that introduces that, allowing it to work with friendly characters. And then they say one has to wonder why we did that. So a lot of people were speculating that this might be for like a Punisher, hero or ally in the future, and he's using, villainous, or like maybe Daredevil might work off of that as well. And then here from the Typhoid Mary here, with like her new art, some people are thinking that because of that, she can't decide where she's enemy or ally. Maybe she might be an ally as well and help you out whenever she's in her ally form. So yeah, a lot of cool speculation here for Typhoid Mary. Let's go over a little bit more of the comments here, some of the more interesting comments here. So yeah, they're saying that this is probably what the ally with villainous is all about. And then they're saying, could she spend your turn as an ally and the villain turn as a minion? That would be pretty interesting. She'll probably spend like, at some point as a villain as well. Because they say here, she is one of the villains of the box. But maybe like she might be like an ally during your turn at some parts or something. That might be very interesting. This person says here, it seems unlikely for a villain to be your ally, even if temporary. It's more likely for that to happen with a minion. Of course, it's also possible that she's just an ally in a scenario and a villain in another, like Magneto in Mutant Genesis. Yeah, so Magneto was an ally in the third scenario master mode in Mutant Genesis, but he was also the big villain, the big capstone villain of the box as well. And talking about here, while Matt and Mary are dating, while Daredevil and Typhoid Mary fight in a recent comic book run here, her stats may depend on which side your identity is on. That would be really cool. I'm not sure you really need a villain when in Alter Ego. That might be a very interesting gimmick here, right? When you flip down to Alter Ego, she's kind of like an ally helping you out, and then she may still have villainous, and where you're in hero form, like, you're attacking her. So yeah, that would be super duper interesting. And yeah, they're saying here, it's wild that they're dropping new hints outside of articles, because normally we don't get anything outside the articles. They just repeat stuff, on social media. So now I gotta follow all the Fantasy Flight Games social media stuff, in case we get like little hints like this. But yeah, not the craziest hint or anything like that, but it's cool to see new art, and it's definitely making me more interested in this character, because like I said before, I know nothing about Typhoid Mary, and now I think that she is definitely, like, I'm getting more hype for her. I know a lot of you guys are super excited for her. You guys are telling me that when we first saw the art in the box, a lot of you guys are telling me how excited that you saw the Typhoid Mary here, on this art that we got right here. So yeah, I mean, I was just more so excited for Kingpin, and then now that we know Bullseye is going to be in there, whenever we got the article drop, I was really excited for Bullseye. But now Typhoid Mary potentially, working off villainous, potentially becoming an ally, because she doesn't know if she's going to be, your friend or your foe. That sounds really cool. So yeah, I'm very excited to hear about how her mechanics will work. And this is just going to be like a short, news update type of video for you guys, for anyone that does not follow the social medias and doesn't know about the new art here that we got for Typhoid Mary, or like Bloody Mary, one of her personalities. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Let me know down in comments, are you more hyped now for Bloody Mary, Typhoid Mary, or were you already super hyped for a character? What do you think about the villainous keyword? Do you think it's gonna actually be that way, where like she's gonna become like potentially an ally whenever you're in Alter Ego or during the player phase, and she'll like help you out a little bit, and then with her split personality, she becomes a bad guy whenever you're like in hero form and you're fighting her. She's helping you out in your Alter Ego, you're fighting her again in villain form. That would be very, very interesting for sure. So yeah, definitely not sure what they're going to do with that, but yeah, just a new teaser here for the Fear No Evil expansion. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you guys all liked this one, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.